Settle up. We are back with episode 7 of the One Trick Ponies podcast. We took a little week off. Caleb was on a field trip. Caleb, you survived your field trip.
I did.
You went to Atlanta. How was it? Just overall thoughts?
Good time. Last day it started to rain a little bit, so I was kind of a pain in the butt as I was walking everywhere, but a lot of good information. I was at a conference the entire time. It was a good time.
How was the drive? Because I know you said you had a drive.
It was 4.5 hours, but I still on a podcast. Listen to 2 episodes each way. Wasn't bad at all. Straight, same highway all the way down. So,
Any flashbacks from Chantilly?
No, this was a much more enjoyable drive than that Chantilly drive.
Hey, and speaking of Chantilly,
yeah,
I got glasses, Caleb.
Yeah, those have been nice about 2 weeks ago.
I can see. Hey, do you want to go on another road trip? We can leave at 1 a.m.
No, I'm good. I'm all good. I'm still calming down from that last drive.
Hey, it's something that we will remember forever. Fortunately and unfortunately.
Yeah, for good and bad, we will remember it.
Well, there's 2 main topics that we're going to talk about today. Obviously, of course, the week you had to miss was after the NFL draft, and so we have a lot to talk about. Just kind of the draft results in general, and then we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs because it's getting good. There's a lot of promise with the young talent in the NBA, and it's kind of showing currently. But before we get into that, I kind of want to hit on 2 things. Before this podcast, me and Caleb actually got into a heated discussion. I wouldn't say it's an argument. It was something that beginning the argument, I felt fairly confident in. And then Caleb just started hitting me with actual facts and statistics. And then I started to regret what I said. But if you know me, I will always stand on what I say and what I believe in, and I will never alter my thoughts, even if I know I'm wrong. And so I told Caleb, I said, hey, like a name I haven't heard of in a long time is David Freese, the third baseman, most prominently known for when he was playing with the Cardinals. And I said, I think David Freese is the best third baseman in Cardinals history. And Caleb threw up, nah, like they got Nolan Arenado. And my argument was, I feel like the Cardinals have just made Nolan Arenado into a mid third baseman. Like, you hardly see him be talked about anymore. Maybe 1 or 2 highlights here and there defensively. But I feel like David Freese is a World Series MVP, a World Series champion, a postseason hero. And Nolan Arenado has none of that.
So you guys can hear this. It just is torrential downpouring out of nowhere. It was bright and sunny like 10 minutes ago. I'm looking outside. It's pitch black outside now, and it's pouring down rain. I don't know if you can hear it, but sorry to cut you off.
We can't.
Okay. Good.
Dude, you were always bugging about something. All right.
Sorry.
Rain! Oh! Okay.
Well, it was loud. I didn't know if you guys could hear it or not. Jesus.
Well, that's what rain does when it comes down pouring. It's pretty loud, buddy.
Get back to David Freese. Shut up. Come on, let's go.
David Freese. Come
on, buddy.
So I kind of hit Caleb with that World Series run. It's trumps anything that Arenado has ever done. But then Caleb got more into it, and to be a Hall of Famer, considered a Hall of Famer, how many there's a point scaler you were reading?
Yeah, so I was on Baseball Reference, and their Hall of Fame monitor is a likely Hall of Famer has roughly 100 points. David Freese has 8 points. So, yeah, I think your debate was off.
I feel like people are really doubting that World Series run.
That's the only thing he ever did in his whole career was those.
But again,
that 2 week span.
Again, read me Arenado's postseason statistics.
It doesn't matter.
1 for 8.
It doesn't matter.
David Freese, MVP, champion. When David Freese does this, I think he's married. He'll have 2 rings. When Arenado does this, he has 1 and soon to be 0 because the way he plays, he's about to get divorced. I don't know if he's actually married. Well, hopefully you have a happy relationship. But I will die on my grave saying, even though the statistics say I am completely wrong, I will take David Freese over Nolan Arenado any day. But hear me out. Imagine if we could take both of them into a lab and create a third baseman that has David Freese's hitting and Arenado's defensive play. That's the best third baseman in history.
Still be Arenado. Because if you combine the two, it'd just be Nolan Arenado again.
Well, that's something I wanted to bring on here. Let us know your thoughts. I'm a David Freese homer. He's just I don't even
reasonable
think he's a
person.
Yeah, I don't even think he's a Nolan Arenado homer. He's just a dude that knows statistics in baseball. So yeah, let us know your thoughts. I know we got a couple of listeners that are Cardinals fans, so maybe they can share their knowledge because I think they're old enough to know both David Freese and Nolan Arenado. So hey, let's leave it up to the true Cardinals fans because neither of us are actual Cardinal fans.
No, I could care less about the Cardinals. I just when Kanyon said that, I was like, I was like, that's not true at all. I even went to a Cardinals fan blog post, and David Freese was not even an honorable mention.
Hey man, he slept on. It's one of those years that probably was just such a blur because of how good he was. But
that's how blurs work.
And then lastly, before we get into the NBA and NFL talk, is very shortly. But Caleb, when we started this, we were just doing this for fun, right? We said that from the get-go. This was all for fun. We don't care if we become the next Joe Rogan or the worst podcast on the planet.
Exactly.
We do not care. We're just hopping on and actually recording what we naturally talk about in an everyday conversation. We talk every day. We always talk sports. So, hey, why not? Let's record it. Well, I guess when Caleb decides to be gone, that's when we just get attacked on social media. We had a couple of haters.
It was odd.
Yeah, I was just like, hey man, at least we started this and we're still doing it.
Yeah. It was one of them came out of nowhere.
Yeah, okay. The first one, and I quickly got rid of him because I'm a big believer is some people say hey, if you block them, then you letting them win. Well, nah, I'm just blocking them because I just don't want to see idiotic comments on our social media. It is what it is. Everybody has opinions. I understand. But the first one was just out of pocket. It was at 3 a.m. on a Saturday or a Sunday. And Caleb was this was when Caleb I guess Caleb wasn't gone yet on vacation, but I don't know what day it was on actually. But anyways, it was just at a random time. And me and Caleb hadn't talked in a while. We were both busy with stuff. And I was like, yo, Caleb, I just had to block somebody because they were hounding on our podcast.
So funny.
And then the second one pretty much just said, yo, Kanyon, you're a blabbermouth. Caleb, I love you. Oh, Caleb. It was a fucking riding with Caleb. Man, I'm so salty too, man. I'm so mad. Not actually. But no, so Caleb, it's good.
It's funny.
Negative, positive comments, I love them all. Because I feel like I've quickly shown in these 6 completed episodes, and now the 7th episode is I love a good argument. I have a very toxic trait of I will literally argue you with anything.
We started this podcast off of that. David Freese versus Nolan Arenado.
And I will make sure that I will always have the last word. And I will always make you feel a little uneasy. And I am not scared to take it one step further than it needs to go. I am the king of that. Taking things a little too far. Would you agree?
I would 100% agree.
So and you have become like used to it.
I'm immune to it now. Now,
Yeah.
when me and
And,
Kane first started talking, like being friends and stuff, he would take stuff too far, and I would legitimately get a little angry. I'm like, dude, come on, this guy's a dickhead. And now I'm just like, oh, that's just Kane. Yeah,
I'm not a dickhead. I just
because
see that.
he'll do all that stuff, and then 30 minutes later, like, hey man, you want to play MLB the Show? I'm like, oh yeah, let's all right, let's go play the game.
My favorite is when I randomly get into my feels and I'm like, yo, Caleb, I love you, brother. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. I
Spam the
love
heart
you.
emojis.
Yeah, we're like, oh man, thank you for everything. I appreciate you. Thank you for being there. Also, you're fat, ugly, dumb. Like, all right.
Hey, man.
Kate, on the record, Katie's never called me fat, but just example.
I have not. I have not. I've probably called you,
Ugly and dumb for sure.
Built like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Got a couple extra
never,
layers.
never directly the fat though.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I would rather call you fluffy because it's just funny and it's. But like
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah.
So, anyways,
fun week. We missed one week and we get bullied. It's fun.
We get bullied, man. It's all right. It's about time. We just we throw so much shit at each other. It's about time just somebody throws shit at us.
They attempted to throw shit. They
attempted to throw shit and I head in the whip.
Yeah, I just sat back and was like,
You're like,
all right.
All right. What, you give me a technical or a timeout?
Yeah, both. A technical timeout. That was weird. I didn't like that.
All right, well, we're coming out of the break.
Clip it, guys. Clip it.
What? A grown man can't do.
Don't do it again. Don't do it
again. All right. Well, so, Kayla, I guess I'm going to leave it up to you. The NFL draft or the NBA playoffs. We kind of we knew we were going to talk about both. Do you just want to go with the NFL draft?
We'll start with the draft. It's the older news, and then we'll get into what's going on today.
Okay. So, yeah, I would say the NFL draft started like we projected.
I had first 7 picks right in my mock draft.
That I didn't post.
That you didn't post, which sucked because I was like, I would look like a genius.
Nah, I can't let you win.
I had the first 7 picks right. I was so mad that you didn't post that after it went down like that.
So Caleb Williams. Oh, what were you gonna say?
So then that 8th pick happened.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So let me see if I can go off the dome here. So Caleb Williams went first, like everybody thought, everybody knew, to the Bears. Second, Jaden Daniels. He went to the
I would say we were pretty early on locking that in. We were earlier than most people.
Because there was a lot of reports at the beginning that was like, I don't want to go play for the Commanders. Like,
yeah, we were about 2 months ago. We locked that in.
Mm-hmm. So that happened. Third pick, Patriots had third pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, third pick had Patriots had no other choice. That we knew they were going to get a quarterback. It was probably going to be those two or Drake May. They went with Drake May. He was the best option available. I'm curious how that goes.
I thought they were going to trade that pick.
There were a lot of rumors. Yes, there were a lot of rumors, and I'm curious how that's going to go because you bring in a QB with I would say he has some raw talent.
Yeah,
but now he is throwing
to nobody.
To some big question marks, and I'm curious. They have Ramondre Stevenson still, so I'm just curious how that's going to go. I know they had some questions on their offensive line. I'll never forget when they drafted Cole Strange in the first round.
Just trying to say you like that I did there?
Yes, but so then the Cardinals, they went Marvin Harrison Jr. Who was the 5th pick? Chargers, they took Joe Alt.
Alt, loved that pick.
Yeah. I thought they were going to take, potentially Malik Neighbors, but then Harbaugh came out like, games are won in the trenches. Run the ball. Pound it down their throats.
I mean, knowing how Harbaugh coaches, that made sense. There's a reason they've signed 4 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
He loves to run the ball.
Yep. So,
oh my god,
I was 5th. Who had the 6th pick? Oh god, don't tell me. Was it the Titans?
Nope.
Shit. Who had the 6th pick? Just tell me.
Giants.
Oh, then the Giants went Malik Neighbors, another team where they're like, the Giants needed so much in this draft, and they kind of I think they just took the best available and also a position they needed in Malik Neighbors. His playmaking ability, is out of this world, and I think, I took him in my dynasty fantasy draft, but that wide receiver room, the reason why I like Malik Neighbors so much is it's Malik Neighbors and Wandale Robinson.
I actually don't hate Jalen Hyatt, man.
Uh,
I don't think he's a number one, but I think he could develop into a nice number 2 receiver.
I just think like that team
or a slot guy.
And their running back, they signed Devin Singletary off of a big season, but you can never trust a vet. All situations are different, right?
Yeah.
The Raven or the Texans O line or the Giants O line, right? Like,
yeah, no, I mean I gotcha. I don't think their receiving room is as bad. If it was coached up, I think it's actually a pretty decent receiving room now with Malik Neighbors.
And I'm not trying to catch clips here or to throw out a hot take, but is it crazy for me to say that I think the Giants have like a 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, or 32nd wide receiver room? Like, or a dead last wide receiver room? Come on, man. That wide receiver room.
A 28, I could see 28. I don't think they're dead last. I don't think dead last.
I was going to say 30th. I just, like, come on, look at every other team. They have a clear number one. Now, obviously, Malik Neighbors will be that number one. He just hasn't proven anything yet. The Commanders have McLaurin. Like, look at that division. A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb.
I mean, yeah, that division, yeah.
Then look at like the AFC North, like my division, right?
So you're saying that, because like the Chargers to me would have the worst receiving.
No. I'm taking Joshua Palmer and Ladd McConkey, who they drafted later in the draft. I would take those two over whatever the Giants. Just like the situation, yes. And they also signed DJ Chark. I would take those.
Okay, as a Panther fan, he's irrelevant.
Yeah. No, wait. Oh, I think you said relevant. No, fuck you.
Passionate about DJ Chark there, Jesus.
DJ Chark, Ladd McConkey, McConkey.
There's no L. Yeah, there's no L.
Ladd McConkey and Joshua Palmer. I would take those guys over Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt, and Wandale Robinson. I'm not saying I would take them by like a landslide.
I think I'm taking the Giants over that.
But then,
I mean, it's probably pretty even. It's not a landslide.
Both of them.
They both suck.
Yeah, both of them are going to be pretty crap this year.
Well, I think. Okay. Well, it depends on what Malik Neighbors does. We'll revisit this later. We're gonna forget, but we'll say we'll revisit.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. It's like, and it also truly, they could be good, but they also have Daniel Jones throwing.
Yeah, that part.
And Drew Lock, but look at the Chargers. They got Justin Herbert.
Where did Tommy DeVito go? Did he?
I think he's still there. Yeah, I think he's still there.
They just replaced him with Drew Lock.
They just have a very mid like quarterback room.
I actually think Drew Lock. I liked what I saw in Seattle last year.
I think we'll probably see some Drew Lock.
I agree.
And maybe even some Tommy DeVito.
No,
I would not count out any of those quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, you heard it. Pick up Drew Lock in your fantasy leagues.
Yes, put him on the bench and just wait for that one random week that he has a good nickname for a reason.
What's that nickname?
All right. With the 7th pick, who's the 7th pick? Let me see how far I can go. This is the Titans, right?
Yeah.
They took my guy, Roll Tide, J.C. Latham. And they needed an offensive lineman. It was going to be Joe Alt. Joe Alt didn't go to the Chargers. I figured Joe Alt was going to go to the Titans. But yeah, they took J.C. Latham, a guy that they need, a team, the Titans offense could quietly be good with Tajay Spears, DeAndre Hopkins. Who was the other wide receiver? They just signed. I think they're in talks with Tyler Boyd. I'm not sure if it's confirmed. And then they got Calvin Ridley. So
yeah, they overpaid for Calvin Ridley.
They did. I would agree. But so that's an offense to watch. Again, it's their offensive line. They went back-to-back years in the first round with an offensive line pick. They're clearly trying to rebuild up front. And yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I don't think with that division, I don't think they'll be that good, but
I want
it
to
was
add
kind of
something to
it was kind of
our
figured. What's up?
backtracking for 1 second. Our receiver debate. I know
Mhm.
the worst. The Patriots. I just put up their
Uh,
depth chart.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was going to say 30. I wouldn't say the Giants have the
So
32nd worst, like
Kendrick
the
Bourne's
last.
Kendrick Bourne's okay when he plays. He's on their
Yeah,
depth chart. Number 2 is Demario Douglas, and then they drafted Jalen Polk from Washington.
then they got a Jerome Baker. I think they drafted another receiver too.
Yeah, and they also have Juju and KJ Osborne.
Oh yeah, they just signed KJ Osborne too. I feel like that's like they have more depth than the Giants.
Maybe they also have Jalen Rager.
Do they still have Devontae Parker, or did they cut him?
They cut him. Tyquan Thornton, former second-round pick. They got Keishawn Butte, but I think he's about to get banned.
Wait, why? What happened?
He bet on sports. He bet on
Oh,
football.
oh, we did.
Yeah, I think he bet on the Patriots, so it's a problem. Or something
Okay.
crazy. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Keep talking. I'll try to pull this up.
Well, I mean, we're now on the 8th pick, and
Oh
this is
yes.
where everybody lost their damn mind, and we're so confused. And we can kind of address this into a little bit more depth than the first 7, but the Atlanta Falcons were on the clock. People said they're going to trade back, get a defender, keep working on that defense, maybe get a receiver, maybe just something other than what they did. And I'm going to actually just say this, Caleb. We didn't talk during the draft. I fell asleep
What?
from like pick 8 to like picks after pick 7. I fell asleep and I didn't wake up till like the 17th or 18th pick. So I'm just
Oh,
gonna say I missed a lot of picks, and I have never fallen asleep during a draft in my life. But I've been dog ass tired. I knew but that week I was dog ass tired, and of course it hit me during the draft. So I missed the Penix reaction. But the
oh,
Atlanta Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr., quarterback out of Washington. They drafted him after signing Kirk Cousins in the offseason to a 4-year deal, which technically people are saying is probably a 2-year deal. They have a way to get out of it and everything. But Michael Penix is, I think I saw 24.
yeah.
So 2 years, he's 26. So you're saying he's not going to start, at the earliest, unless Kirk goes down with an injury, and I hope that he doesn't, because I actually like Kirk. He's going to play at the age of 26. It's just like I was so lost, and you gave Kirk all that money, and you had options at that pick number 8.
He got rolled.
Get more draft capital. Trade back, do something other than what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the whole world was just kind of like any NFL fan was like, "Yo, we did not see that coming."
Yeah. So I was sitting there on the couch watching the draft, obviously. And Schefter pops up and he's like, watch out for the Falcons to take a quarterback here. And everybody on the panel thought he said corner.
Really?
And they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. He's a quarterback. And everyone's like, whoa, what do you mean? Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then obviously they took Penix. Because it was, I don't understand. Somebody told me this, the best way I heard it get put was they must have the utmost confidence in Kirk Cousins that they're going to be winning for all these years, and they're not going to have a high draft pick to take a quarterback, which still sounds crazy.
Yeah. And another thing, next year's quarterback class is not.
It's Carson Beck and Shadur.
And then Quinn Ewers. Like, yeah, those 3 guys are like the main
Penix is probably the best one out of all those.
Correct.
So
but they had an opportunity to make an offense of Kirk Cousins, Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London,
Rome Odunze,
right? Or get another edge rusher.
Kashanu. You
Get an
had
O lineman. Like, they had so many options.
They could have got Brock Bowers and converted Pitts to a receiver like they should.
Oh, that's a hot take.
They should do it.
Like, but anyways, they just had they had a gift handed to them, and I just don't understand the plan. Like if you're bringing in Kirk, I would say you're in win now mode. Like you want to win now, especially with that division, right? That division is terrible.
Sucks.
It's terrible.
You have
the chance to separate yourself from the pack. And they choose Michael Penix, and a quarterback that's already aging. And he's also had how many ACL injuries?
3, 2.
And I still think he's a great guy. I think he's a great quarterback, but the fit just is like you're wasting him now.
Yeah, it's odd.
He could have, shined for the Giants if they didn't, they traded back. The Vikings were there. The Broncos were there. There were other opportunities for him.
Raiders.
I heard the Seahawks were trying to trade up for him.
Yeah, it's didn't make a lot of sense at all.
The Falcons were just determined. So that happened, and now I guess the next biggest pick, and then we'll get to our teams. The next pick that had me, and I missed this one too, was Brock Bowers going to the Raiders. I was
kind of the fact that the Vikings traded up a pick to take JJ.
Oh yeah.
They went from 11 to 10 to get JJ. Presumably, so no other team would trade up, I guess, to get him, because I think the Penix thing kind of threw everybody off.
I feel like a lot of teams had a panic because then the Broncos, got Bo Nix because they thought they were going to have probably 2 options, maybe 3 options at that pick. Yeah. And then it was like, oh shit, Penix is gone. Now McCarthy now. So we got to take Bo at, I think they take him 13, 12.
Yeah. So I feel like the Vikings traded up from McCarthy out of they didn't want anybody else trading up. But that was an interesting tidbit to that. But yeah, Brock going 13 to the Raiders. I think that's an interesting one. I don't hate it as much as a lot of people do.
I hate it just because, again, like the Falcons, they had a lot of opportunity. They had a lot of – they could have addressed defense. They could have done so many things with that pick, and they choose Brock Bowers. I think Brock Bowers is a great – he's going to be great in the NFL. With his catching ability, his tracking the ball, good hands – I think he will be just fine, no matter whatever team he's on. I just don't like the fit or what the Raiders did, because they also last year, I think in the second round, they took Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame, a guy that was arguably the best tight end in the draft. But then Laporta kind of showed there's levels to it, and Michael Mayer, he's still a good tight end, but he just didn't have a lot of opportunities last year with the Raiders. So double downing on tight ends, it's technically, I would say they're going to use him. They're going to use both tight ends well in the passing game. If they have a passing game, they're giving Gardner Minshew weapons. They're showing that, hey,
Gardner Minshew, you think he'll be the starter?
Who else?
Aidan O'Connell?
No.
I think it'd be Aidan O'Connell.
I'm pretty sure they made it clear that it's Gardner Minshew's job to lose.
The depth chart still has O'Connell at 1 and Gardner at 2, though.
Well, obviously, because that's how depth charts work, brother. They acquire, did you see how, when you read KJ Osborne, where was he on the depth chart for the Patriots? I think new acquisitions don't fill into starting roles until the start of the year for depth charts.
I've never heard that in my life.
I could be wrong, but that's how I always see it. The team that because I was also looking at, me and my buddy, he's a Titans fan. I was looking at the Titans roster, depth chart.
Calvin Ridley was number 1 on their depth chart.
Okay, so the one that I saw, Calvin Ridley was not even he was not even in the depth chart. He was still listed as.
Oh yeah, so the one I just looked up, because I just had the written pulled up, he was number 1 on their depth chart.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I guess there's probably those are probably projected depth charts, whatever. I mean, everything's projection right now. So
Yeah.
I think Gardner Minshew. I mean, I don't think Aidan O'Connell showed enough last year.
I don't think Gardner Minshew. I don't think he was bad enough to lose his job though to Gardner Minshew.
You're acting like Gardner Minshew is not good.
You're acting like Aidan O'Connell's not a rookie that had an all right outing.
He didn't have an all right outing. I thought he was. I did not think
he wasn't. He wasn't dog shit.
Again, the Raiders didn't give him much. I don't think if they're going to take a step in the direction that they want to, and that's probably winning and competing in that tough division, I don't think they're gonna go with Aidan O'Connell. Minshew's proven that he can win big games. Yeah, I mean, he started for the Colts. He started for the Colts when AR went down last year. Like, I mean, I still think I would rate him over Aidan O'Connell.
I think they gave Aidan O'Connell a shot.
We'll see. That's the quarterback battle we're going to be watching.
It's going to be, it actually will be an interesting one because, I mean, I don't think, kind of like what we were saying earlier, I don't think they're like, they're on the same tier, but I think they'll go youth to let somebody develop over Minshew.
I also think they will choose the route that best fits and keeps Davante Adams happy. Because if they don't have Davante Adams, I mean, if they don't have Davante Adams,
well, they picked up a guy. Not of the same caliber as Davante Adams, but like they actually have two solid other receivers.
Why have you not said their names yet?
Jacoby Myers and Michael Gallup. They're not bad.
Michael Gallup's been on the sidelines for like 8 years.
So is Gardner Minshew, and you're gassing him up,
brother.
They did get a steal in the second round, though. Let's just change subject.
I'm going to ask you this last question, then we'll change up. Then we'll get to our teams. I think Davante will lead that team in targets, right? Who's leading that team in targets? Who's second in that team in targets?
Brock Bowers.
Okay, who's third?
Jacoby Myers.
You think?
Yeah.
I was going to say Davante, Brock, then Michael Mayer.
I think Jacoby Myers.
All right. Well, he was actually
good. He was actually solid last year.
Okay. All right. No, I know. No, I know who Jacoby Myers is. I know he's good. Yeah. I'm just.
The problem with this, looking at this team, is their running back room.
Oh, it's terrible.
Zamir White, Alexander Mattison, and Namir Abdullah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Like Zamir White could be good.
Yeah, last year I think last year.
Yeah, actually he had pretty solid one. Jacobs kind of whatever, but Mattinson's
that dude fumbles more than he gets into the end zone.
And I forgot Amir Abdullah was still in the league.
Hey, man.
He's a hell of I think he's mainly a special teams guy now. But Jesus. That's one of those guys that like
living in Nebraska, there's so many Amir Abdullah jerseys around.
Really?
No.
Oh, you got me. I was like,
no,
I know. Okay, that was kind of shocking.
I mean, I actually have never been doing like a Nebraska football game, so there could be like a Amir Abdullah fan club out there. I didn't even go to
doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Not a fan club.
I feel like a New Dominican Sioux is probably the biggest. I mean, I don't come at me for my Nebraska sports knowledge, but I think New Dominican Sioux is probably.
Oh, who's that one? It's like Tony Fumalali or whatever. The one tight end, fullback guy from back in the day. Did he go to Nebraska? Hold on.
You said Tony and then spoke a different language.
Fumaga. Oh my God. The fact I got that right. Did he go to Nebraska? Fuck, he went to Wisconsin. Why do I always get them confused?
Well, maybe because they're red and white.
Dude. That was a good pull. Though. It's also Troy, not Tony, but it is Fumagalli.
That's a terrible pull. You got the school and the first name wrong.
Fumagalli.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the Raiders though. They actually, I like what they did, man. Their defense is actually solid.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I love Max Crosby. That dude is like an actual like freak.
Yeah, and they got my favorite defensive player, non-Panther, Christian Wilkins.
Oh yeah, I forgot that big signing. That D line is actually going to
Probably gonna kill people.
That's going to kill quarterbacks, man. That's wild.
Yeah, man. I love Christian Wilkins. But they got the steal in the draft in the second round. Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yep. So, I thought could potentially, they had a lot of options in the first round. And, actually the second round, Powers Johnson I thought fell to him. I mean, I think that dude.
There was rumors of him sliding, like kind of like day before draft day and draft day that he was going to fall out of the first, but I think he's very solid. They're actually they moved him to right guard on the depth chart.
Jackson Powers.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, no, I thought the value at that timing in the second round, I think that was a good pick for them, and I think that's one that's going to help them again, kind of just rebuild that offense. I mean, like you said, that defense is fine. It's the offense that has so many question marks, and honestly, like Caleb, we can keep an eye on that because I think that's going to probably be one of the biggest things that we can watch. We have interest in it. You like Aidan O'Connell, or you support him over Gardner Minshew. I like Gardner Minshew. So, there's we should pay attention to that just to see, how the Raiders, because that division now with the Chargers kind of taking a weird step, the Broncos kind of also being in a weird position. The Chiefs will always be the Chiefs, but now that second place spot, maybe a wild card spot is open in that division.
Yeah, so I agree.
So that's a team we'll definitely keep an eye on. And now, fast forward, we thought only one of our teams was going to have a first round pick.
That is true.
But and we'll get to your pick, but up until this point, it was true. At the 20th pick, the Steelers didn't do any movement. There's rumors that they might get a wide receiver or do something with the pick to get a receiver. They did not. They stuck there. They stayed patient, and I think they got really good value at this pick. I'm going to butcher his last name. Troy Fatanu.
I think that's correct.
A tackle from Washington. A need, something that the Steelers they took Broderick Jones last year. They made it clear that they needed to get they needed to improve that offensive line, especially with the running game. Pickett is no longer here, but Pickett was getting slaughtered last year in the backfield. It was just much needed to address, and they did that pick. I was very happy with it. It's not the flashiest pick, it's not the biggest name, but it was a good pick, but not my favorite pick, and we'll get into that later. So now, end of the night, my eyes are. Caleb's probably sleeping at this time. Were you sleeping?
I was indeed.
And you hear the Panthers are now on the clock. 32nd pick?
32nd pick.
They traded up one pick to the Bills. They traded with the Bills. They were holding the first pick in the second round. They traded up to get into the first round. Obviously, the Bills, they were going to probably get a receiver, so the Panthers didn't want the Bills to potentially take the receiver that they had their eyes on, and they selected a guy that Caleb, you have been talking about.
It was my lock
ever since
months.
Ever since we started talking about the draft, you have said this individual's name, and I'll let you kind of give your thoughts and deep dive in on it. But
I feel like I was the only Panther fan that stuck with this pick the entire process. It was Xavier Legette or bust, and we got Legette. I'm very excited. He's already made a good impression with the fan base with his country accent. He wants to be here. It's very funny. I'm excited. He's not as funny as Keon Coleman. I love what he's doing. He's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He's so funny.
Tiger wish he could.
Oh, dude. The cookie jar off, and they dropped the cookie. That's another story. But Xavier Legette from South Carolina, we got the guy I wanted. He creates separation. I think he's a perfect fit for our offense. He doesn't have to travel far. I'm very excited to see what he does in our offense. And I saw somebody that I work with made a great point. Reason we trade up one pick to get him is we get that 5th-year option if you get drafted in the first round.
Yep.
So if he pans out like everybody thinks he does, we have that 5th-year option now versus getting him in the first pick of the 2nd round and not having that option. So it made a little bit more sense just behind the fact that the Bills are going to take a receiver, but I think the Bills are dumb for what they did. They traded with the Chiefs to get Tyreek Hill 2.0 and then traded again. I don't know what they were thinking. But they got a good receiver. We got a good receiver. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I agree. And now I'll let you keep talking here. Just very briefly, if you want to highlight on any other individuals that the Panthers drafted, what would you grade them on an A+ to an F scale overall draft for the Panthers?
Okay, yeah, I'll keep the Jonathan Brooks draft pick. I don't love that. I don't think we have an exact need for running back. But if he recovers, he's electric. If he does recover from, I believe it was ACL. I mean, that's probably like a C+.
That's very good. Yeah.
Because like we didn't need a running back, but value was there. My favorite pick, first pick of the 4th round, fourth round, I believe it was. I'm skipping ahead just to kind of some.
Yeah.
There was a tight end on the board that I said,
oh,
I would love if he fell to us. I think we're gonna take him. Nobody was really talking about it. And I was teammates with Jonathan Brooke. Jatavion Sanders, Texas. We got him. I'm very excited about that. He's a big pass catching tight end. Something that Bryce has not had in the NFL yet. I don't know if Kanyon, you may know better than me. Did he have a big tight end in college at all?
Unfortunately, Alabama's like never really good at recruiting like tight ends. They have a couple tight ends here and there that might, like Irv Smith Jr., but nothing like super crazy. It's always been him, Devonta Smith, Waddle. Like he's always had so much talent on the outside.
Yeah.
Why does he look inside?
So I'm excited. Hopefully he plays well. I really wanted him. I liked his frame. We needed a tight end. We haven't had one that's really been productive since Greg Olsen. We've had Hayden Hurst. Ian Thomas is a great blocker, but he uses, these just for blocking, doesn't know how to catch a football.
Tommy Tremble.
He makes me tremble every time he gets on the field. We just haven't had anybody, and I think hopefully Sanders can be our replacement for that.
So you said overall probably a C+ for the draft for the Panthers?
No, just that pick. Overall, probably I would give it a B-.
B-? And honestly, I haven't done too much digging, but I think that's also kind of where other like experts and analysts put the Panthers.
I'm an expert.
I had to come back there, but it wasn't appropriate for this podcast. So yeah, no, I think you're probably agreeing with everybody else.
I'm reasonable. I mean, I'll tell you if we do good, and I'll tell you if we suck. I think we had a pretty good draft.
And I'm not, kid, you have to back me up here because I'm not being biased. I think the Steelers A+ that draft.
They did very good.
I mean, 2nd round, they needed to keep addressing the offensive line. Zach Frazier from West Virginia fell into their laps with the 51st overall pick. A center, just keep building up front. And then the third round was my favorite. This was actually like, this kind of just cemented what the Steelers, are looking to do for the future. So with their first pick in the 3rd round, it was the 84th overall pick. They took Roman Wilson.
I like that pick a lot.
Wide receiver. The wide receiver room ever since getting rid of Deontay Johnson, it's kind of been George Pickens. You have Calvin Austin. We signed Quez Watkins. Just not a lot of big Van Jefferson. Just not a lot of big flashy names. Roman Wilson, coming off of a national championship with Michigan, he showed out in senior day. I think he's just very versatile in what he can do. Whether it's getting going deep, short dunking, dipping or throwing it out to him, letting him kind of create, be a playmaker. He has a lot of talent. And he also, I saw when they drafted him there, the analysts were kind of talking about he has a willingness to block. So that helps our run game. Something that we just needed. The Steelers have always dominated the run game, and they haven't kind of in the past couple of years. So his willingness to block is also something I'm excited for. And I think Arthur Smith is doing something special. I hate Arthur Smith, but I think he's doing something all right with the Steelers offense. And then that last pick in the third round was considered the steal of the draft if he can get healthy into 100, or probably not 100%, but if he can just stay healthy and have the same production he was having in college. And Caleb, he's actually relatively close to you when he played his college ball. But Peyton Wilson, the linebacker from NC State, I think he had a quote where it was like, if there's 75 plays, I want to be, out there in all 75 plays. I want to. He's coming off some pretty rough injuries. He's torn his ACLs, and he's had a shoulder injury. Like the dude's pretty much a walking robot right now.
Basically, Sean Lee.
Yes. But if he can get back to the production and having him with Patrick Queen, I think we have the linebacker from the Commanders we signed last year, Cole Holcomb. Just having that linebacker core, that gives me hope. And I remember when I was a kid, the James Farrer, the Larry Foote, those guys, the Lawrence Timmons, the guys that just were ready to make plays and would fly all over the field. Peyton Wilson has the capability of doing that as well with Patrick Queen and Cole Holcomb. So those are the kind of the picks that I wanted to touch on. We drafted an Iowa boy, Logan Lee, defensive lineman. Tell me that name doesn't sound Iowan. Logan Lee. We went with a guard from South Dakota State, Mason McCormick. Apparently this dude is just like walking CTE, and I mean no disrespect with that. Like he's willing to go head first and just
I like it.
Yeah. So another just addressing the offensive line, and then we drafted a corner, I think with our last pick from Texas, Ryan Watts. Didn't know much about him, but it's a position that we have never been able to figure out in the past how many years. So, give him a chance and maybe we can get something out of it. So I think both of our teams, I would agree. I think the Panthers did well. I was super stoked with what the Steelers did. Nothing flashy, but it got the job done, and this is what we needed to do. I'm tired. I'm happy we didn't take the route of the Falcons, just trying to go with a flashy pick or just a reach, to get people happy. We did what we needed to do. So the draft was
the one thing I'll say about the Panthers is that, a lot of Panther fans wanted us to still go O-line. I'm actually other than Jackson Powers, maybe in the second, I wouldn't have mind going him. I wanted Cooper pretty bad because I told you that's kind of who I wanted.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, I wanted him pretty bad. I'm glad that we didn't go O-line because we spent so much money in the offseason on them. We needed a target. And
that's what I was going to say. You even if you have a good O-line, if Bryce Young's still throwing it to Kmart workers, he's still going to be terrible. He's still not going to work out.
So now we have a tight end, 40 running backs, and 3 notable receivers.
Yeah.
And an okay O-line. We should win 5 games this year. That's my prediction.
I would say that receiver room is okay. I would say 15 to 22nd.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. It's okay. Adam Thielen, if he can just be, I hope he has the career trajectory of Jordy Nelson, where he's above average until the very end. He's productive until the very end. Deontay Johnson, if he doesn't run backwards or drop a ball, it's okay. He's going to do both. And Xavier Legette, if he can be that separation guy, I would love it.
The thing that I saw that just got the hate on Leggett was his route tree wasn't very like special
No,
or anything.
it's streaks.
Yeah, but
Streaks,
again,
slants.
there's an individual that he compares to very, very well, just his size, speed, and that's DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody that's a sports fan knows who DK Metcalf is.
Yes.
So if he can be just even a slice of what DK Metcalf is, I think Panther fans will be okay.
Yeah, you'll probably see me rocking a Leggett jersey if he's anywhere near DK Metcalf level.
Yeah, just he has the size, he has the frame, he has, if he can just,
We also have Jonathan Mingo, who came on decent there towards the end of last year.
Oh, remember that debate we had? I was dogging Mingo, and you. Oh, I love Mingo. He's the best receiver in the class.
I said he's top 8 receiver, not best. So don't get it twisted. I said he's a top 8 rookie receiver.
I just said that to make you look like a fool.
Yeah, I'm not that dumb.
But no, and then outside of the draft, we talked about the Falcons. The Falcons continued to make questionable picks. I think in the second round they traded up and they didn't pick the defensive tackle from Illinois, Johnny Newton. I don't even know. I don't want to butcher his name because I'm pretty sure it was some wild ass name. But
their best pick was Braylon Trice,
the linebacker from Washington.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah. Some other picks that I would like to touch on. The Chargers got Jerry Rice's son, and they got Ladd McConkey. I think that those two will. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but I think they'll be decent. I think Trey Benson, Florida State running back to the Cardinals. James Conner, he's proven to be, he's shown that he still has it, but he gets hurt a lot. And I think Trey Benson will do great things for the Cardinals offense with Kyler and now Marvin Harrison. I think that's a good addition. Trying to think of any other. Were there any other picks that you liked?
Rattler to the Saints.
I did like that fit as well. That was kind of the other quarterback outside of the top 6.
Yeah. I think he can develop. It was character issues is what I heard is why he fell from the QB1 when he was in high school. Like
exactly. He was a cocky little prick. Like, all right. I feel like he's matured from that because he got humbled real quick.
Yeah, some guy named Caleb Williams humbled him pretty good.
And then SEC defenses when he went to South Carolina, right? Like, I feel like his character issues might be out the door.
Hopefully.
People can grow up. And now with the Saints, he can learn stuff from Derek Carr. I feel like Derek Carr is a very smart individual. Might not show it sometimes when he's out on the football field, but I feel like that's just a good quarterback to learn from.
Yeah, and the guy, he's got a mentor now. I think he'll be fine. I like that. I think that's a sneaky pick for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other wide receivers. Brian Thomas Jr. went to Jacksonville. I like.
We didn't talk about the Eagles. The Eagles getting.
Dude, how did the Eagles get every year? They just get like SEC defensive talent or top rated prospects just fall to them. They got Quinyon Mitchell, a corner, and then they doubled down on the secondary, and they got Cooper DeJean in the second round.
I saw a very funny thing that both their safeties are so they have Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean are their safeties now. So
probably the interesting first like white duo as safeties, probably, right?
Yeah, it is. So it's just a little it's a little odd. It's cool, I guess, whatever, but it's still of a draft to me. I really, really wanted him as a Panther.
Yeah, and I like Blake Corum went to the Rams. Him and is it Kyron Williams?
Yeah, Kyron Williams.
But again, I think Kyron Williams has had some health issues too, right?
Yeah, he got banged up a little bit last year. They lost Cam Akers. They
And I think Corum could be a guy that, they did it with Michigan. They did that Michigan, just put him on the goal line when in their goal line package. Corum's just a very small, compacted running back, and I think that might work there. Junior Colson, the linebacker from Michigan, arguably a top-rated linebacker. He reunited with Harbaugh in with the Chargers. I like that pick. The Ravens got Nate Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the Steelers always draft well. The Ravens always draft well though, and the AFC North always they always have like very good value picks. They always draft somewhat well in the AFC North. But the Nate Wiggins, man, I think he's going to be the best. Him and Terrion Arnold, who the Lions traded up for from Alabama. I think him and Nate Wiggins and Arnold will be the best corners, and then Quinyon Mitchell.
The last pick in the first round I want to talk about is at 19, the Rams getting Jared Verse.
Yes, the Rams are doing.
They lost Donald, so they went and got another D lineman that's freakishly athletic. I like that pick a lot.
I think the Rams are doing something special, just quiet stuff. Nothing too crazy, nothing like that will wow you, but I think they're doing enough. And the Vikings, they got Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner and JJ McCarthy in the first round. I like that. I think the draft, there was so much talent and just like good depth this year. It's going to be unfortunate for next year. There's just not a lot going on with next year.
Carson Beck, Travis Hunter.
There's
there's a one. Is it Missouri receiver?
Yeah, Bird. I think his last name's Burden. And then there's like an edge rusher from Tennessee. So yeah, it's gonna be unfortunate next year when you have all this talent, the wide receiver talent, like Xavier Worthy going to the Chiefs, Brian Thomas, who I mentioned, went to the Jaguars. There's just a lot of who's the A.D. Mitchell went to the Colts.
Oh yeah, he fell.
So there's a lot of, I thought, good value picks throughout the draft. So is that where we want to end it with the NFL draft?
Yeah, I think we're good there.
There's a lot of winners, I would say.
There's not a lot of bad drafts other than Atlanta.
I didn't really get into it, but what the Browns did was just so questionable. I thought they had a terrible draft. They already like traded away their future, and now they're just making some very questionable picks. They drafted an offensive lineman from Michigan who had a season-ending injury. Just questionable picks for the Browns, but it's okay. They're in our division. I'll let them suck. So now, going on to the playoffs, I think the two things mostly we wanted to probably talk about is the Thunder proved that their youth won't affect too much. I mean, they took care of business with the Pelicans pretty easily. They swept them, and so out of that first series, the player that surprised me the most, I knew SGA was going to get his points, but J-Dub has been electric.
He's so good.
Adding another 18 to 25 points a game, it just really helps that team. And then Chet's going to have a double-double or be, close to one. So, and Giddey even had a couple 20-point games. I think I know he at least had one in that series. So that team, man, it's going to be fun. That series with the Mavericks. So now the Mavericks beat the Clippers. I think that series is going to be fun. But the second thing we can probably talk on, and I know you said, Caleb, you wanted to keep this in a certain time frame. So the young talent, man, Orlando Magic. They got eliminated in Game 7. We knew that series was going to be tough. I love Paolo, my boy Paolo, Paolo Banchero. Caleb likes him too. Dude, he's
the only Duke player I've ever liked.
He went out in Game 7, put up 38 and 16, I think. He had a double-double, I know. And they did lose to the Cavaliers. It was on the Cavs home court. But the young talent, man, I think this year he turned heads. Next year he's going to be doing what this individual is doing now, and that's Anthony Edwards. I think we could talk about this guy for 15, 20 minutes. Like, what he's doing in the playoffs right now. Like, he's scoring effortlessly, Caleb.
It's nuts.
Do you remember Do you remember when we played basketball in your backyard?
It's like how I scored.
Oh, you stole my joke.
I know. I saw that coming from a mile away.
But what he's doing is just like
It's unbelievable.
against like
Jokic.
the Suns, and now the Nuggets. The Timberwolves are already up on the Nuggets.
My favorite clip of all of the playoffs so far is him hitting the DX suck it KD.
Yes.
That was awesome. Like a guy like KD who's like an all-time great, and Ant-Man's like, I'm here, basically, is what he told him.
Have you ever seen that like me? I think it's like from South Park where it's like nuts are in the wheelbarrow. And like you'll look it up.
I know what you're talking about, but where is this going?
I'm like, I feel like that is what Anthony Edwards is like. He is literally just like he's just letting it all out in the playoffs. He's scoring, he's cocky, he's clutch. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody. Whoever's guarding him, he will accept any matchup. Like, and he just still finds a way to get it done. And I just feel like right now is like his big nut, big ball moment. Like this dude is really showing out. And I last year he turned heads. What Paulo Banchero is doing this year, but now this year, Edwards is on a completely different level. And he was like that during the regular season, but now it's the playoffs, right? It's win or go home. Defenses get tighter, right? The scoring gets harder. And this dude's still making it look like he's in an all-star game weekend.
Yeah. I think next year, I'm not a betting man, but as soon as the MVP odds, you can bet on MVP. I bet you his odds probably aren't going to be that high. And I think that's a sneaky MVP bet would be Ant-Man next year.
His stock is crazy high right now, and which rightfully deserved, right? Like we knew it's unfortunate. Like I always gave him respect, but I never this much respect. And now I feel like everybody's just like, this dude's real. This dude's like where I saw something on Twitter is like, where has MJ been keeping this guy? Like, because they just feel like he's like so similar to MJ, just his ability to score, his ability to play defense. And they're like, did MJ create this man and like keep him hidden away for all these years? And now, he let him out, and it's the Anthony Edwards show. But I'm curious what they do in the off season. I don't know how much money they have. I know they probably have a lot of money tied in with Rudy and Cat.
They're gonna have to do something to keep him. I wonder. I mean, this is gonna sound crazy. Maybe I'm insane for saying it, but like the LeBron era is ending. Are we entering the Ant-Man era? Where he's gonna be our star player?
Well, I think there's a lot of players you could say that, right? Like, are we entering the Luka era? Because Luka's still doing great things, right? Luka's still
but Luka's not marketable.
I think that's recency bias, what you have right now. I don't think we're there yet. I'm not saying we can't get there. I'm curious how he ends out this playoffs.
So let me put it in perspective. Anthony Edwards is marketable. Luka's not.
I don't think that's true.
Anthony Edwards already in a box office movie in a role. Luka, maybe back home. Not here.
But Luka scoring 70 points in a game.
All right, and most people have already forgot that happened.
I didn't. But I'm not most people. I'm unique. All right. But no, I
think him or SGA will be the face.
SGA will never get the respect he deserves.
I don't know.
He's talked about, but I still don't think he's talked about enough. Now, Ant Edwards is doing a lot of things that helps his image, because what he's doing is a lot of things that the media can pick up on, right? Like the big plays, the post rise, all that. But Luka's also doing that with step back threes. The random just like and one shots, or like the.
No, I love Luka, and I'm not trying to diss on Luka. That it came across that way. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just think that.
And then another name that we have like forgotten is because he was hurt and his team got eliminated, but
Giannis.
Giannis is still there, right? And I mean, the Celtics haven't shown any signs of slowing down. Jason Tatum's still there. I will say this: there's so many young names and talent to build off of. The NBA has to just keep using these names to build up your brand because they have so much talent right now in the league. Like every single team. Look at Jalen Brunson, man.
Jalen Brunson's been killing it.
Like the NBA, and we've said this multiple times, is just sitting in a really good spot.
No, I agree.
I think we'll know more about what Ant Edwards is capable of and what his future looks like with this run in the playoff. If they eliminate the Nuggets, man,
they're already up 1-0.
I know.
They play tonight.
And arguably, the Nuggets were the best team entering the playoffs. You know, the Thunder, they had all those question marks about the youth, right? The Nuggets with Jokic and Jamal Murray, like they were thought to be, you know, easy trip to the finals. Timberwolves don't have the experience, right? They don't have the experience. They're not ready. If Ant Edwards continues to put up 40 points a game on the Nuggets and sweeps them or wins in 5, now we're having a different conversation, and we'll leave that for a future podcast.
Man, could you imagine a Western Conference Finals of the Thunder and Timberwolves?
Hey, Minnesota's not that far from me.
That'd be sick.
That would be sick. I love the teams, you know, just the Minnesota sports in general right now. They're thriving. The Twins have been playing some pretty good ball. The Vikings have now a franchise quarterback, Justin Jefferson, right? And then they have Ant Edwards, this star that's just built a crazy name for himself in the matter of just a short, like, you know, coming from Georgia. Name me another good Georgia basketball player. I do not know one off the top of my head. I would have to look, and there's probably a guy that's like, oh, I remember, you know, Contavious Caldwell Pope. That's the last lottery pick for Georgia, I'm pretty sure. But like, coming from Georgia, man, and doing what he's doing, I knew he was talented. He was obviously the first overall pick. But imagine if you would have slipped Caleb and came to Charlotte. Caleb.
Hey, at least we didn't get the guy. At least, you know, we didn't get the guy that went number 2.
Who's that?
James Wiseman went number 2 in that draft.
Oh, hey, he's still good. Just kidding. Dude, imagine Ant Edwards and Brandon Miller, bro.
Bro, imagine Ant Edwards and Curry. Because Warriors had the number 2.
Oh, God. Dude, Ant Edwards and Curry, man. Dude, thank goodness the Timberwolves weren't stupid, man.
The league would be wrapped, bro. Curry and Ant.
Curry would be playing until he was 50. He would not leave that team. Ant-Man is doing what he's doing now with the Warriors. Klay Thompson would remember how to play basketball.
Draymond Green, he would not be on the team. Klay Thompson would not be on the team.
Draymond Green would stop getting technicals.
Yeah,
that team would be transformed if Ant Edwards was there. But I will say this, Caleb, and we will keep monitoring this. If they do what they did in that game 1 to the Nuggets 4 straight times in a row, we will talk about the Timberwolves. And so many other people will also be talking about the Timberwolves. Because that is absolutely, nobody would have thought that. Nobody would have thought what they're doing right now, right? I
mean, we act like they were a terrible team going in. They are the 3 seed.
They are the 3 seed. But yes, but you gotta think, even though the Suns were a 6 seed, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, who's the other name I'm missing? Devin Booker, right? Like that team right there in the playoffs, those guys, you know, I would take those guys over Ant Edwards any day. Without knowing anything, if I'm taking a team of KD, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker over a team with Ant Edwards, I'm taking the team. Those guys are just all natural scorers, right?
Yeah, I mean.
And Ant Edwards just brought out the broom.
He did bring out the broom.
Swept them. So, NBA, if you're not tuning into the NBA playoffs, man.
It's a fun time.
It's a good time.
The only time I watch basketball. I've yet to watch a game, but it's the only time I really keep up with basketball.
And I'm going to say, so we have this on record. I've always said I don't have an NBA team. I am now declaring to be a fan of the Orlando Magic. They've been eliminated.
Wow.
I'm declaring myself as an Orlando Magic fan. The song
is awesome.
Hollow. They got so much money to spend in free agency. They got my boy Joe Ingles. I don't know how many more years Joe Ingles has in him.
This is probably it for Joe Ingles.
Jalen Suggs, who's being recruited at Iowa to play football as a quarterback. Cole Anthony, you know Cole Anthony.
My guy.
I'm declaring myself as an Orlando Magic fan. Now, does that mean I'm going to have Orlando stop? Nah, I'm just declaring myself. That's a team I will watch for the future. And they got the Wagner brothers. They got Moritz and Franz. So I'm declaring myself as an Orlando Magic fan. Orlando Magic. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
We got 10 minutes, roughly 10 minutes left. Again, I know you want to get out. We posted hot takes this week.
Yeah, mine already deleted. So
well, let's give a round for the effort, man. For the effort.
I did remember to actually post it, and then we forgot to record last night.
Let me cook here. But I think if you go to your 3 dotted lines on your profile and you go to archive, if you go to archive, go to your stories archive, you click that post and then you scroll up, you can still see them. Did I cook?
You cooked.
All right. So, and we've posted them for I don't know how many weeks, and we just never used them because they've always been late. So I actually have a lot that I can
I got 3 and 1. They're all UFC based. Do you want to use them or not?
Let's just do one each, right? We're gonna slowly get back into this. We got to figure out the timing. Our life's kind of been all crazy, both of us here. So let's just do one each.
Okay.
And then we'll end with some final thoughts, and we'll wrap up episode 7. All right.
All right.
You can go first.
Poetan beats John Jones.
Nah. Whoever said that, nah. It's not even much of an argument. Does Poetan have the ability to knock out John Jones? Yeah, he has the ability to knock out anybody. John Jones' grappling is what will separate that fight completely. You see what he did to Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane also had the striking that people said was going to compete with John Jones. What did John Jones do? Backed him up against the cage, took him down, choked him out. Now, do I think that fight will ever happen? No. I don't think that fight will ever happen. No, John Jones has to fight. Well, it's always been Stipe. Now, Stipe is just living his life as a firefighter. I don't even know if Stipe is ever going to come back to fight. So the next in line is the interim champion, which is Tom Aspinall. Everybody wants that fight. I want that fight, right? Because Tom Aspinall has the grappling and the striking, right?
Yeah,
he's a complete heavyweight. There's not a lot of complete heavyweights. There's a lot of heavyweights that just strike, right? Because they're fat and they don't want to wrestle and they don't have the cardio to. I want that fight more than anything. Now, if Poetan keeps doing what he's doing, Alex Pereira, if he keeps doing what he's doing and John Jones is a little bit more active, then maybe, sure. But I don't think that fight will happen. I honestly think Tom Aspinall could beat John Jones.
Okay.
So that's my thoughts. And what's your thoughts?
I kind of agree. Like I said, Poetan's grappling, it's not where it needs to beat John Jones. Going into that Cyril Gane fight, everybody was talking about Cyril Gane. He also had grappling. He was a wrestling heavyweight, and he just got completely outclassed by John Jones. So, some decent grappling versus somebody with basically none in Poetan versus Gane, and John Jones obliterated the guy with the good grappling. So, I don't think there's if it was a stand and bang fight, sure, but it's not going to be that with John Jones.
If it's a striking battle, each person always has a chance.
Yeah.
Every start fights with on the feet, but John Jones would quickly take Poetan down, and I think John Jones would. I think he would just lay on him, have a boring fight, or just some submission. choke him out, tap him out. So, honestly, man, I'm just gonna be honest. Whoever's doing my hot takes, you guys suck. These are just terrible hot takes, and they're not even worth my attention, brother. Tom Brady will come out of retirement.
That's not correct.
Miami comes back to defeat Boston. Well, that series already happened. Thunder win the NBA title. We've already talked about how they look good. Something about Nebraska football. They're irrelevant, so I'm not even going to read it.
Fuck Matt Rule. Sorry.
Timberwolves sweep their way to a championship. We've already touched on that.
Sweep the whole playoffs?
Yeah. What? This person just said McCaffrey.
Which one?
I don't know if they accidentally
the Iowa McCaffreys, the football.
They just said McCaffrey. And then we have Celtics Mavs finals. I don't really want to talk about that. We can talk about that later. That's just not really a hot take because they're both still in the playoffs. So and
it's kind of a hot take.
1 and a 5. Doesn't need my attention. So I'm gonna give you one more UFC hot take because I like talking UFC, and then we'll wrap this up.
All right. You want me to say it?
Yeah, I don't got the UFC hot takes.
Oh. Khabib was mid and GSP is.
He cut off there. GSP is the GOAT.
Yep, GSP the GOAT, and Khabib was mid.
That's something that people always says oh, if you look at Khabib's
who he fought.
Track record is not good. Islam already has a better title defenses than Khabib. He avoided all of the big names. Man, do you know how hard it is to be undefeated, stay undefeated in the toughest MMA promotion on the planet? I don't care if he fought 0 ranked fighters or 10 top 5 fighters. Fighting in the UFC is tough, man. And what Khabib did, I'm never going to overlook that because 1, he could beat my ass. 2, it's just he made some of the best fighters look. What he did to Justin Gaethje, what he did to Conor McGregor, GSP is great too. I'm just saying don't dog on Khabib because Khabib's great.
I agree.
And there's nothing else to that. GSP is also great. One of my dream fights was always him and Khabib. GSP and Khabib.
So GSP was already retired when I started watching UFC, so I don't really have much to say about him. I can appreciate greatness. What he did was, but I don't really have anything to add to that because I never watched him fight.
I think the last time I saw GSP was one of the Marvel movies. What cameo is he? What?
He's in Guardians of the Galaxy, I think.
He's not Guardians in the Galaxy. I'm pretty sure it's Captain America. That's the last time. That's the last time.
Which one is he in?
Let's look. Marvel. He is George Batroc in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And he also voiced his character in What If. So he's in the Captain America series. So he could be in the new Captain America movie. I don't know if he died or something. I'm pretty sure he died in a plane crash in one of the movies. So I don't think we'll be seeing GSP anymore in the Marvel universe. But yeah, I like both of them. So all right. Well, Caleb, you got to go to the mall. Is that where you said you were going?
Yeah, I'm gonna head to the mall today. I gotta go pick up some shoes.
Why do you casually say you're heading to the mall? I feel like malls don't exist anymore.
No, there's actually a big one by my house.
How big? 3 stores?
No, 55.
That was a random number. There's not actually 55 stores in the mall. No way malls are still in business, bro. Half the stores in the mall you can literally just order online. Order from them online and it's probably cheaper there. You don't have to waste gas driving to the mall.
I like the mall.
This is the mall. Closed down store. Victoria's Secret. close down store, close down store. Hey, can I polish your shoes? Close down store, close down store, buckle. That is literally the mall.
Our buckle is on the downstairs. Victoria's Secret's upstairs. So you got that wrong.
I actually am. I'm actually scarred from buckle. I will never go back to buckle. You want to know why?
Why?
As a kid, you know, for homecoming in high school and whatnot, we always got a nice pair of jeans or just jeans in general. I would always go to the buckle. My biggest thing is one. When I don't want to talk to people, I just don't want to talk to you. So quit trying to talk to me. Well, when you enter buckle, they're like, oh, hey, how can I help you? What jeans do you want? Oh, let me take you to these jeans. Oh, you look like you'll wear these kind of jeans. Oh, you want to try them on? What size are you? Oh, you look like a 34, 34. Oh, no, actually, you're a 32, 33. Oh, wait, I don't like that style. Maybe a darker style. I hate buckle. They don't let you breathe. Like, just let me look for jeans myself. Do you ever have that problem?
No. So I'm gonna open up with you here.
Oh, God.
When you go to the mall as a large person, no clothing store wants to talk to you because there's a good chance they don't have your size. And it saves them the embarrassment. I'm just telling you they don't have clothes your size. So it works out that I don't have to ever talk to any of the employees.
Man, life must be easy as a fat man.
Yeah, then we're dead by 35. So
hey, it's worth the death. It's worth the death when you don't have to deal with buckle employees.
yeah.
Man.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, on that note.
Well,
Oh,
we got to do it. We're back. It's nice to finally getting into the swing of things. Where we again, whether you love us or whether you hate us, we're still gonna be here. We're still gonna have a new episode every Tuesday unless Caleb's taking a field trip. Like we are going to do this. I was actually ready. Caleb was busy, so I didn't offer this to him. But I was ready to literally just record a podcast, from our phones, and just to get one out there because we love doing this. Especially when the draft happened, I wanted to talk draft with him. But we love doing this. Whether again, we don't care how you guys feel about us. We will appreciate any feedback. As long as you are listening and watching and, get here and there, maybe a chuckle or two, whether it's good or bad, that makes us happy. That makes our life complete. We are, TikTok likes to hate on us when Caleb puts a lot of effort into our videos. I don't know why.
Anything special or the videos tank.
Yeah, TikTok hates that, but they don't want to see us shine. We appreciate everybody's support, guys, gals, anything in between. The One Trick Ponies on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. We're getting a little bit more Spotify users. That's probably my father because he doesn't know how to use YouTube. And he probably clicks play 10 times before it actually loads. So he's probably all of the
appreciate it. Keep doing that. Keep it up. We like it.
Bump up the numbers. Yeah. But give us a follow if you want to. Doesn't hurt our feelings if you don't. But anything that you can to get this to a new listener. I know we have a few people that kind of share our clips and whatnot. So we love it. We're gonna keep doing it. This episode was good. It actually flowed pretty smoothly, Caleb, with just two big topics, and we kind of filled in the gaps there. Another plug, and we'll talk about it because I want Caleb to watch it before we talk about it. And we'll talk about it next week. But the roast of Tom Brady.
I'm going to probably try to watch it tonight at some point.
It's 3 hours, 3.5 hours, I think. It's on, it was live on Netflix, but now you can just watch it on Netflix. And I watched it last night. We'll talk about it later. But if you like comedy, if you like dark humor, if you like Tom Brady, if you like Kim Kardashian, there's so many big personnel there, and just hearing them roast each other, Caleb. There were so many times at 2 a.m. where I was just dying laughing.
I heard my boy Tony Hinchcliffe went off.
Oh, he by far was my favorite.
He is. That's whose podcast I listened to on the way to Atlanta. I listened to 5 episodes of Kill Tony.
It was so natural for him, but again, that's what he does for a living.
It's basically what he does for a living. Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe killed it, even though he was getting absolutely roasted the entire night. Rob Gronkowski killed it. Julian Edelman, I'll say, and we'll touch on this. It wasn't much of a roast. He went up there and he was making some very homosexual comments towards Tom Brady, because apparently people always thought him and Tom Brady were gay together, and he fed into it in his roasts, and it was very wild. So Caleb, go watch it. Anybody else, if you like comedy, if you like sports, it's a mix of both. Comedy's back. Don't believe what you see on the internet, because people are soft and take things out of context when they don't even know it was actually it was a roast battle. You're there to be
I saw people are like, I can't believe this is allowed on national television. I'm like, have you never listened to a roast before?
It's literally
that's what this is supposed to be.
Kevin Hart did a great.
Yeah, because people were trying to defend Kim Kardashian. I'm like, she went here knowing this is what was going to happen.
Kevin Hart was great. He was the host. So many short and racist jokes were made up towards him, but he wore it like a champ, and he was a great host. So Caleb, watch it. Everybody else, watch it. Also watch the One Trick Ponies. If you got this far, you've probably already, you have watched the One Trick Ponies. We appreciate you. Caleb, last little send off. Do your thing.
What thing? Oh, this fight.